disappears. No mess to clean up, no damaged surfaces. You need to check with Wellington, always researching and practicing with new, better, faster, safer equipment and products for you. And it's very easy to schedule an estimator for your next project. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 644-4930. Be well with Wellington.
News Talk STL. The hour of the Allman Report brought to you by STL Fence Works. Celebrating 50 years of industry-leading service for fence, deck, and leisure space solutions. Visit stlfenceworks.com.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hobbles and I can't stand fences.
Yeah, crazy.
Don't fence me.
We are a white shirt, and suddenly the whole mechanism of the Facebook page, camera, and everything goes berserko. I guess I can go and change. Clothes in my car. Oh, now I think it's adjusting. It's like, you're wearing white. It's like, okay, gee whiz. I had a meeting. I normally don't even wear collared shirts for sissies. But yeah, I'm kidding. I will go. I get it. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday to all of you and yours. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here and Ashlyn over there. And, such consternation over the shutdown. And it's so funny to watch how the Democrats blaming Republicans isn't working anywhere. Like, it's working on the mainstream media, but most people absolutely do not in any way, shape, or form blame Republicans for this. They know better. They know exactly what the people on the left wanted. I mean, Maxine Waters said it. I mean,
Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown, because if the government does shut down, Americans...
Excuse me, stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and healthcare is at the top of our agenda.
Yeah, and they wanted health care for illegal aliens because this is how things work. I've explained this before regarding the human trafficking network that the Democrats built, and they had to have somebody replace all of the other minorities who were losing trust in them. So you basically just have to invite new people in here. You have to essentially give them free stuff and make them dependent on you by the millions, and you can win elections that way. They tried to do that with minorities, and even that didn't work because minorities can speak English, understand English, and have brains. And so they knew exactly what was going on. So this is just basically an attempt to fund health care for illegal aliens and create more of an attraction to this country than there already is.
Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody.
Yeah, so she's not even denying it. She's not even saying, well, no, we don't want health care for illegal aliens. That's not what we're saying. She goes, no, we want health care for everybody. She's like doubling down. She knows that she could say this, and of course, people on the left and others will be okay with it, but she knows. I mean, this is crazy how she just basically admitted that in front of everybody.
We want to save lives. We want to make sure that health care is available to those who would die, but having the help of their government.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, this is just unbelievable. And I still can't figure this out, but this is a topic for another time. I can't figure out. I mean, I think I know, but I can't figure out why black politicians are more actively fighting on behalf of illegal aliens than black citizens, than their black constituents. Doesn't make any sense. These black politicians are outside ICE facilities and everything else. Sometimes it's the first time anybody's ever seen these clowns. Like, wow, you're really lathered up about the illegal aliens. I haven't seen you this excited about anything regarding black people ever. So what's up with you? But you know what's up, because they know that black people, their own black constituents, don't trust them anymore. And they need a new dependency squad. That's all there is to it. How's the shutdown working for all of you people? Oh, and also all the budgetary stuff. I noticed that WashU is announcing that because of, and this is so typical of, well, governments and institutions like WashU. So they're claiming that because Big Bad Orange Man canceled research and development grants, or there's money that's not coming in like it used to come in for them to play around with, that they're just going to go ahead and fire a bunch of people. Now, this is the same WashU that spends millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on land expansion. They bought up half of Midtown St. Louis, right? So let's just put it this way. Maybe if WashU would just simply curtail its addiction to gobbling up land to the tune of millions and millions of dollars, maybe actually it could afford to keep people on, or maybe even fund its own research instead of relying on the federal government. But instead, you see the comments. It's so ridiculous because you know who reads the Post-Dispatch, right? So you see the comments. The Post-Dispatch has a story about the layoffs, and then every single commentator is like, Trump, 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 Trump. Never occurs to them that if WashU wanted to do the research it wanted to do, it could fund its research, either through its endowments or whatever, or maybe just deciding, hey, maybe this parcel of land on Euclid can just stay put for a while and we won't buy it. I mean, the selfishness of these individuals, and we're onto it. You guys know what happens, for instance, when the state wants to cut funds or cut income taxes or do whatever. The first thing the liberals do is hold news conferences in school gymnasiums saying that the first to go will be education funds for kids. It's the same old thing. Or the first to go will be, we're going to have to fire a bunch of police officers or a bunch of firefighters, that kind of thing. So none of this is bothering any of us. The government shutdown, I mean, in this case, you're seeing President Trump say, hey, you know what? We might use this to our advantage. We're going to go ahead and lop some heads off that we've always wanted to lop off, and nobody will be around when we're doing it, and that'll be great. Man, I remember the days when there was such consternation over the government shutdowns, but are you noticing that fewer and fewer people really care? I'm sure there's probably some degree of, I don't know, there might be some degree of inconveniencing on people, but as I said yesterday, I just I don't really need to go and see old driftwood and beaver pelts at the Arch Museum and I don't need to learn any more about Dred Scott, so I'm not going to go into the old courthouse anytime soon. So that's kind of it, you know? I don't even know whether people even work at the old courthouse. I don't know. I hope they, I mean, I think I'm glad it's there, but I really don't know what it does necessarily. I know it's part of our history, obviously, and indeed is the site of the Dred Scott decision. So it is important, but it's just there. Nobody's gonna go there. And you know what? I'll tell you one thing. If I were from out of town and I was coming to St. Louis in the off chance I would come here, I wouldn't be like, come on, kids, let's go to the old courthouse. And it's like, I don't know. I don't mean to downplay. I probably sound really gratuitous. Hey, have you guys seen this thing with Hakeem Jeffries is getting so darn funny. I mean, this is getting great. Of course, President Trump, as you know, totally doubled down. I mean, he saw Hakeem Jeffries in the Oval Office and had Trump 2028 signs there. It's interesting how Hakeem Jeffries was like, you say it to my face. And then he gets in there and like, we don't ever get a report of whether or not Trump said anything to your face or not. But the trolling is just getting so beautiful.
It's a disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented...
Somebody told me about the video yesterday. I'm assuming this is the same one. And of course, you guys probably have seen it already. So it's President Trump. It's four President Trumps in the mariachi outfits. And not only do they double down on that, they put another Mexican hat on Hakeem Jeffries and another mustache.
Republican assault.
Oh,
it's a disgusting
do it
video,
again.
And we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
It's so nice to have Republicans who just love having fun. Like George Bush would already be apologizing by now, you know. I'm sorry. Like Trump, that's a really great double down because the mariachi guys come up right when Hakeem Jeffries says bigotry. It's like these guys don't give a rip. It's so funny. And that was on Truth Social. And then this is great because Hakeem Jeffries goes on CNN and then Abby Phillips makes him watch it again.
You may have seen this. I mean, President Trump just moments ago posted pictures from your meeting in the Oval Office where he, I guess, apparently tried to hand you Trump 2028 hats. Then he posted another video, an AI video of you in a sombrero once again. This time he's in the background. You see it, the audience can see it there.
So Hakeem Jeffries is in this double box and he's having to watch it again.
As a mariachi band. I mean, I think the question I have for you is, do
you like wearing sombreros? That would be Abby. Or did you ever think about did you know how good you looked? That's the question that Abby Phillips has from. Did you know how good you looked in a Mexican mustache?
Do you think that this is even a White House, a president that cares to negotiate in good faith?
No, honestly. And then, of course, we finally have ABC News, which forces Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, to explain that memes are used for humor. I mean, George Stephan, I mean, these people, the news media and others have zero sense of humor, zero sense of awareness, zero maturity, And Stephanopoulos and ABC, they're trying to make you. And you notice Abby Phillips even did it. Well, this is an AI video. It's like, no kidding. You had President Trump in a mariachi outfit behind a guy with a sombrero that's basically floating above his head and a mustache. Yeah, we know it's a fake video.
Let me ask you about President Trump. He had another deep fake video overnight. How does that help the cause of getting a deal and opening the government?
Look, the president uses social media.
First of all, that wasn't a deep fake video. That was just a meme video. And I thought the deep fake thing was just when you're having somebody say something and they're not saying it. And maybe they did that with Schumer. Maybe that was deep fake. I don't know. Oh, gee.
How does that help the cause of getting a deal and opening the government?
Look, the president uses social media for humor. He makes jokes. He does lots of things. What the president did in showing leadership, though, 2 days ago, was he brought in Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to meet with me and Leader Thune in the Senate to try to work this out. He gave them unlimited time they had in the Oval Office, and they would not come to the table to do exactly, George, what they themselves have said repeatedly over and over and over.
Yeah, George, memes are used for humor. That's just how it goes. That's the way it is on this Wednesday. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Coming up, Joe Brazel has some choice words for, a local reporter, but also what's going on at the St. Charles County Council in the Charlie Kirk resolution. They call Joe Brazel brass nuts, You'll see on the other side of this. It's Common Sense Radio.
The tides are changing.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
The Democratic Party doesn't stand with what I stand for.
News Talk STL.
Every time I talk about Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill, I am totally hungry by that time. It's crazy, but true. Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill, Harry Parker, and of course, Erica, they both run the food truck. So if you go to GulfShoresRestaurantandGrill.com, you can see where the food truck will be, and you can chase it down. Sometimes it's out maybe towards the end of the week or whatever, and you could find it someplace. You could also hire it, and that's bringing Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill to any garden party, any wedding, anything you're having, and it'll be there. And it's a great feature and a ton of fun. Gulf Shores Restaurant and Grill.com is the website. 3 locations in St. Peter's. That's the second location. Third location, actually, the newest one. Then, of course, the one in Creve Coeur and Edwardsville. Edwardsville has a slightly different menu. Like, for instance, they've got Cajun pork chops and things like that there. And the original place, as well as St. Peter's, the fish tacos are just outstanding. You can have it grilled, you can have it fried, you can have it butter seared, whatever it happens to be, and Cajun style. And it's just fantastic. I love the fish tacos so much, and the portions are amazing, and the pricing is great, and the atmosphere is fantastic. I think Pennsylvania Slim is out there as we speak at the Creve Coeur location, as he has been for almost 20 years. Pennsylvania Slim music and happy hour is always fun. Grab yourself a hurricane, half price, whatever it happens to be. And thank you, Harry Parker, for your constant support of free, common sense, conservative radio.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hi, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show, and I'm here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, capitalism, that is increasingly under attack. But why is a free market system so important?
The simple answer, society is much better off because of free markets. Free markets allow individuals and business owners to freely choose what to consume, how to save, where to live and do business, what to produce, and how to protect our valuable resources, and so much more. And this can all happen without requiring heavy government interference. In a nutshell, free markets empower people to live their lives the way they choose. And this makes all our lives better.
The John W. Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University fosters and examines market-oriented approaches to economic and social issues. To learn more, visit hammondinstitute.org.
When it's important to you,
what St. Louis is talking about.
It's on News Talk STL.
The CDC is an agency that is very troubled.
RFK Jr. shaking up the Centers for Disease Control.
I hope President Trump can do in Chicago what he's done in Washington.
You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
News, analysis, opinion.
The people in this city are accustomed to rising up against tyranny.
Tyranny is when they shoot you and the person walks out of jail.
101.9 and 94.1.
My talk station.
News Talk STL.
I think you're a little confused.
News, analysis, opinion.
I've got something to say and I can't hold it any longer.
101.9 and 94.1.
You won't hear the truth anywhere but here. News Talk STL.
News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Jamie Allman here with you. Aston over there. And, well, you guys know what happened in St. Louis County at the St. Louis County Council meeting. And Mark Harder put forth a resolution honoring Charlie Kirk and condemning violence, that kind of thing. And, well, it's going to cost the Republican who wants to be the next county executive his future, because I'll never vote for him. I'll talk about this later, but he's basically destroyed his campaign by voting against it. He'll pay for that. He will pay for that. And I'll make sure he does. So in St. Charles County, a similar resolution was put forth by Councilman and overall good guy Joe Brazel. Hello, Joe. You hung up? Okay. I tell you what. Come on, Scatterbrain. Call him again. That's fine. But anyway, situation there, I mean, this is very simple. And of course, they probably would have voted for it had it been a George Floyd resolution. And the reality is you have to, at some point, just nail it down at one point or another. I mean, just go ahead and put it forth. It's not, it's not like it makes you a racist or whatever else. And then there were Republicans who voted against it in St. Charles County, too. I mean, just outrageous. Joe Brazel, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Hi, what's up, buddy? How's Jamie doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
I am doing awesome. Going to the Billy Bush Rodeo on Saturday. They're going to give money proceeds to the Turning Point USA. You know that, right?
Right on, man. Yeah. I thought that was the 8th of October, but it's the 4th, huh?
No, it's the 4th. It's the first Saturday. And then Billy Bush is even going to talk. He's going to talk about Charlie Kirk. We got first responders. We got fire trucks, ambulances, sheriff, police department, the police, St. Charles County Police Color Guard for the opening ceremony. We got a gal, Christine Salvatore, who was in the towers during 9/11. It's going to be awesome. She's
I might
pledge. It's going to be.
Yeah, I only worked one rodeo for Billy this summer, but maybe I'll see if they need me out there this Saturday so I can be out there.
Oh, you should be. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
I'll ask.
And he's given a percentage to Turning Point, which is also awesome.
Yeah, man, that's so good.
Yeah.
Also, I'll ask Nancy or see what Billy wants and see if they need me to pour some beer out there for him this weekend. It's always a fun time. I miss doing that, but because of the real estate thing and everything else, those weekends are sometimes crucial. So it kind of gets hard, but I miss seeing you.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I know that I also missed. I know last Saturday, you had a fundraiser for Bill Eigel, right?
oh, we did. It was awesome, Jamie. Had about 200 people there. Plus, had a great country band. Had Thunderhearts playing. We raised about 60 grand. You believe that, Jamie?
Wow.
About 60 grand. It was really good. Yeah. So, and everybody's in great spirits. A lot of energy. It was just really cool. Beautiful night. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's great.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
back to Charlie Kirk. So you put forth. I saw this Elliot Davis bit on it, and I was like, man, this doesn't seem like it's very balanced. You know, to tell you the truth, I know Elliot, and really hadn't known him really to be kind of one of those, but it didn't seem very balanced. Like, what happened?
Did you see my post I said about that?
Yeah.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he interviews me and Tim Baker. We were the sponsors, the originators of the bill. And of course, other guys are going to jump on just because they know it's politically correct, whether or not they believe it or not. And so he interviewed us, and we talked about DEI, how that's race baiting and all this other stuff, and that Charlie Kirk actually, I sent out a video today on my Facebook page that he didn't believe in races. He said everybody's DNA is the same. There's no such thing as races. It's created to be the created division and all this stuff. So these libs were saying, I'm talking about he's a racist and all this, all those false talking points, all about it. And so he interviews Mike Elam, and Mike Elam, if you saw his interview, it was so milquetoast and so bland. And I didn't really even know Charlie Kirk, and he wasn't at the level of Martin Luther King. Did you hear him saying all this stupid stuff? And I'm like, God, that's horrible. That's where I put on there. I go, it's funny how Elliot Davis interviews me and Tim Baker, and we talked about DEI, we talked about race, we talked about God, we talked about all the things that were very important to Charlie Kirk on his awesome message and how he motivated so many young college kids and high school kids, right? He didn't play any of that. You know why, Jamie? Because it's not his narrative. It's a typical fake news bullcrap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what was his problem?
Because he don't know. He said he didn't know Charlie Kirk. I didn't listen to Charlie Kirk, but it was a part of political violence and blah blah blah. Which what he said is partially true, but it was really weak. It was weak. It's not. It's like no, dude. He was a great man. He's a Christian. He was a motivator. There's a lot of great things about this man. And you don't say he wasn't at the level of Martin Luther King. Well, that's your opinion, but I think you're wrong. I think he was at the level.
First of all, he doesn't need to say that anyway, except to suck up to Elliot Davis. I mean,
No, that's 100%.
I mean, you don't need to talk about Martin Luther King. Nobody's saying he's Martin Luther King. I mean, but for a lot of kids, he's got a lot of influence on them. And whether you compare it to Martin Luther King or Ronald Reagan or whatever, it is what it is. But you don't have to say that just so you could milk toasty and not be called a racist. Man, white people who do that are so annoying.
No, it's annoying, and it's just so weak and cowardly, and so it's just total bullshit, But I'm sorry, no, it's just nonsense. But here's the thing: the reason why we did the resolution is when St. Louis County put it on the agenda, I thought, well, maybe we'll do it, but you know what? They're going to pass it, so we don't need to be redundant. I mean, it's a slam dunk, right? They failed it. They failed. Now, how in the heck can you fail that? So that's when we put it on, and the majority of us voted 100% for it, So that's why we did it, because we don't need to be embarrassed by St. Louis County's government anymore. Now, Mark Harder's a good dude, and he was the one trying to do it. But, I mean, come on, Jamie. What the heck? They had these people coming in there talking about how racist Charlie Kirk was and all this nonsense, false, liberal, crazy wokeness. And it's like, come on, guys, you can do better than that. Just know what you're talking about. Quit being so misinformed or stupid or whatever you want to call it.
Well, these guys are only did that because, first of all, they wanted it to be assured to get on TV. They wanted to play into the narrative where I can vote for this, but then kind of pretend I'm not into it. Can I have it both ways? And that seems kind of cowardly to me. But
it is cowardly. And I was listening to you before, and you're 100% right. That Hancock dude. I mean, you know what? That just made everybody realize that he's not. Don't even don't, you want to put your Republican name tag on because you're going to Chamber of Commerce meetings and you want to act like you're Republican, but don't do that. I mean, come on, everyone knows it's all crap and we know it. And so, to be such a coward to, I don't think we should do this. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah. Dennis Hancock, he might as well quit because I'm telling you what, I will do everything in my power to make sure even if he is the nominee, I'll vote a Democrat before I vote for him. There's no question about it. I'm not kidding you.
Well, at least Democrat, you at least know their colors, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm tired of these guys who are just so wishy-washy and pretend to be Republicans, whatever. And it's like, and that, listen, this Charlie Kirk thing is consequential. I mean, people think that people who support Charlie Kirk are all these nutcases and everything else. And Charlie Kirk has left behind, even though they're going to continue it on, like my son, who's 21, an entire generation of people who instantly became lifelong conservatives after they tried to kill their hero or killed their hero. So
100% correct. And there are people, do you know how many people that I talked to, my sister and one is included, called me afterwards, said, did you know this Charlie Kirk guy? I go, what, Lisa? What are you talking? Did I know him? What? She goes, well, I didn't know anything about him. And now he's really interesting. I've been watching all this stuff. What they did is they made a bunch of people aware of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
He's more popular than ever. Him and then Turning Point USA, 100%.
Well, what happened is also all of his videos started just absolutely taking over Facebook. So if you were looking at Reels, you couldn't avoid, if you wanted to, Charlie Kirk's amazing interactions on these college campuses and beyond. And so, and like, for instance, I didn't play a lot of sound bites from Charlie Kirk on a regular basis, but I knew my son who worked with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point back in Arizona before the election, and Charlie Kirk was there, and they were all registering voters and stuff like that. So I knew him, but I knew him more as a leader for the generation of my son, and I was really so comfortable with that and everything else. And so they're underestimating this thing, and you got to know that there's so much power now in the young conservative voting bloc, and now younger women are becoming part of it now.
Well, even blacks are more aware of him, and they love them too. I mean, it's across the board. It's everywhere. It's everybody, every race, every religion, and Christian people recognize Charlie Kirk as being actually kind of a Christian warrior, And there's really no difference. People make comments, well, he was not elected official. Why would you honor him? Some of the libs come up to the meeting and complain, and it's like, I'm like, really? I go, well, what about Martin Luther King? Well, I didn't know he was elected, and we honor him like we should. He was a great man, and he did some great things. How is that any different than Charlie Kirk? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so don't give me that nonsense. Just because some of these people have TDS so bad and they hate our country and they hate everybody else that, just typical liberalism, not jobs, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, well, and then you look at situations like when you mentioned black people. I know a lot of black people who are as offended by DEI as white people are, because black people don't need a pat on the top of their heads every time they turn around. Black people want the satisfaction of earning jobs along with everybody else. And even though I think there is some level of racism at work among some people that I can't help, but the reality is most blacks would subscribe to what Martin Luther King said, which is the content of your character or talent, for that matter, and not the color of your skin.
100%. Around 100%. So, listen, I'd like to invite everybody to Billy Bush's rodeo. It's going to be extremely patriotic. We're going to honor Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and first responders and veterans like we always do. We do the national anthem, God Bless America. We do the whole works. And, Jamie, I will expect to see you out there.
Yeah, brother. All right. And how's everything? I'm going to actually try. For some reason, I thought it was the 8th. I must have been screwed up. But all right, how's everything else going? You still seeing Shaw out there and everything? You guys are always a hoot.
I'd see that silly ass all the time. Yeah, he's funny. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm sure he'll be there in his cowboy hat. I got my cowboy hat. You got to wear a cowboy hat. You know, they don't let you in without a cowboy hat. Those are the rules. I'm just kidding, actually. But no, we'll see you out there. I'll turn you loose and I'll see you around. Thanks for calling.
Well, wait a minute.
Stuff.
I'll tell you, Shaw never. It could be. We could be slammed, and there could be 100 people in line at the bar, and Shaw will come in there and go, "Jamie, hey!" Hey, what's up, man? Crazy.
Well, they're having. He's having his dad's autism, not autism, Alzheimer's. March next Sunday, the 12th. Everyone down at Good News Brewery. It's to raise money for Alzheimer's, and so that's a big deal to him and his family. And so that's at 12 o'clock on next Sunday, and that's a good turnout. Me and Nick Shore, Senator Shore, we're going to talk, and some other people. So that's a lot of fun too.
All right, you going to be hanging out with the pretty ladies out there Saturday?
Oh, absolutely.
Always are. Yeah. All right, man. Yeah. Always impressed with Joe Brazel. Right, okay, buddy.
All right, bye.
I'll see you, man.
I'll see you.
Shaw. I'm Shaw. He's a great guy. Sure, man, give me a beer. But, it's that's a fun time out there. You guys ought to check it out. Bush Family Brewing and Distilling. I haven't been out there in a long time. I love Billy. He's created a really good vibe out there. It's almost like a Grant's Farm West. That's kind of what the way he intended it to be, and it's been really growing. And it's good, man. He's the only Bush brewing beer in the world. You know that, right? All right. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on this Wednesday. Jim Talent is going to review the shutdown thing. I know all of you are like, I can't go to the Arch anymore. I know, I'm sorry. Well, just be glad. You won't feel like you're suffocating on the way up. This is Common Sense Radio. Happy Wednesday.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Window World Window is a storied window. I'm telling you what, this is a legendary window. And it's not just legendary in the minds of the window world people, because it kind of is on that end, because they have a lifetime warranty on the windows. That's how much they love these things, how confident they are that you will love them too. But they've got a lifetime warranty, all parts, glass breakage, and labor. I mean, a company that stands behind their product in that way is standing by their product in that way for a reason. And that is incredible. And that's because the window's great. It's a thermally superior window. It is double paned, and it is quite fantastic, and you will love it. And if you want a whole house project or whatever, you can also get it financed, which is super cool, and you will certainly appreciate all of that. Also, they have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, and they have the heads up, thumbs up from the Qualified Remodeler magazine, which says, hey, this is a #1 selling window in the country. And there is a reason for that. They are the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. Simply the best for less.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
John Burnett, show host at Newsmax, professor at NYU. Is there hope in the younger generations for America?
I don't teach from a left, right, or center. I teach common sense. No socialism. I force them to think critically. They are uncomfortable in the first 3 weeks, but then they start getting it. And guess what? They actually end up embracing it.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk.
Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Super proud to be part of the Walner home selling team of Berkshire Hathaway. We get it done for you, whether you are listing your home or whether you are searching for a home to buy. I love Rodney and Jen. They've been longtime friends of mine and longtime supporters of the show, and they are the top home sellers in the Berkshire Hathaway network, and they're really super amazingly good at that. So what happens when you want to list your home with the Walner home selling team, 314-810-SOLD, is they will come up with a plan that basically creates a battle over your house. And when there is a battle over your house, you know what that means, right? That means that you are going to get the top price. And on top of that, they come in with a lower commission rate than you're going to see anywhere in the land. Also, on top of that, if you're a buyer, and I primarily do a lot of buyer agency work, so I'll look for a home for you or show a home to you or get you hooked up, write a contract for you, negotiate the price for you, all the other things for it as well, get you the top, most amazing price on the home and also the best deal on the home when it comes to all some of the other stuff and keeping this and keeping that. And so that's what we do. We go to battle for you, and we're there before, during, and after the sale of the home. 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD. It's the Walner home selling team of Berkshire Hathaway.
Colombo and Company.
Governor Kehoe deployed the Missouri National Guard to assist ICE agents across the state. We'll discuss it Wednesday with Missouri political insider Rodney Boyd, plus Danny Define and closest cabinet.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Don't tell me none of them no lies, a woman, cause all you know I told her. I don't sell me no alibi, sister, cause all you got I sold.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday to all of you and yours. Just Common Sense Radio. Jamie Allman here, Ashlyn there, and off to the races, ladies and gents. Woke up this morning and, well, you heard it here on the show yesterday. The really upset father down there in South Carolina. It was riveting. And, man, that has spread like wildfire. So I woke up this morning to a text from some friends of mine on a string. It was a text string. And I guess they weren't listening to the show, which I, of course, punished them for and humiliated them for. And I said, I had that on the show yesterday, and I will reiterate my my desire. You know, you remember the Million Man March? And I wasn't really sure. I think the Million Man March at one point had a positive thing to it because it was mostly black men, you know, and they were wanting to march for men to stand up. and to be better. And, there was a little bit of, the whole everybody's racist thing going on there with the Million Man March. But nonetheless, man, if you had an amalgamation of all of these parents of these victims of not just illegal aliens, but also of a judicial system that has basically just preyed upon Americans, you'd have some changes going on. And I think it's fairly clear that, and I don't know, Americans are sometimes like this, where we just accept certain things are a part of life. People get murdered, people get killed. It's just how it goes, and blah blah blah. And then things really start to pile up, though, and it becomes very, very apparent that something is really, really terribly wrong. Because you're in a situation where suddenly, I mean, how many times are we going to hear that the person arrested for some heinous crime was out on parole or been arrested 9 times or what have you? Something isn't working here. And the permissiveness of our judicial system, I do still want to know, and perhaps I will try to look into this. I do still want to know what really the mentality of these judges and other people, what they really think is going to happen. Like, what is their reasoning? And I've never really gotten a great answer. I remember being at Channel 4 a long time ago, and I've always wanted to follow up on this because I think it was in 1996 or 5, I can't remember. I did a whole story about the a group called the Wren Avenue Crips. And in St. Louis, and this is still the case, if you are walking along a street that's named after a bird, you probably ought to get the hell out of there. Because most of the street names in St. Louis and North St. Louis named after birds are really super violent. I don't know why. But anyway, this was back in the day when we had the Bloods and the Crips and the gangs, And there was a group called the Wren Avenue Crips. A couple of them were brothers, whatever. And I busted these judges who were continually letting them out all the time. One of them was a Judge Hagney. I'm not quite sure what he's up to these days. He's a nice enough guy. But back in those days, I would ask people for interviews, and if they declined or didn't get back to me in a set amount of time, I would find them and I would pounce on them and make them do an interview. It was always much better if they would just go ahead and, sit down and we could talk and everything else. But if not, I'll catch you going to your car because I know where you are or whatever. I never went to anybody's house, but never did that. But although I did, though, a while back, go to Sam Page's house during COVID, and the police didn't like that. But anyway, so I normally didn't go to people's houses, but if you didn't want to talk to me, I would eventually make you talk to me. So anyway, Hagney just said, we're giving people another chance because that's kind of, they're young, and we're hoping that through other efforts and community efforts, but that never happened. And man, I got to find that report sometime on the Wren Avenue Crips. I have all these big tapes, like they're 3/4-inch tapes, like in my garage and in my house. But I don't know where the actual story is because I'd like to follow up and find out where these gang members are now. Because it's been about 30 years. And I would really like to follow up because I have all their names, or put all their name pictures up and everything else, but I'd like to know where they are now. That would really be interesting to me. I don't have necessarily an archive of all that. But again, even then, when I confronted Judge Hagney about it, they just didn't have much of an answer. They didn't have much to say about it. It's like, well, we can't keep filling up the prisons. We can't keep doing this. It's like, well, yeah, you can. I mean, punishment is the only way to do this. Unfortunately, in many criminal justice circles, they believe that you send a young person to prison and all they do is get harder and more angry and whatever. That may be the case, but isn't that the fault of the prison system and what's called the corrections system? Because after all, it is called a corrections facility, right? So that's what supposedly the justice system is supposed to be designed to do, which is to correct behaviors, not exacerbate them. And if indeed the prison system is exacerbating them, then maybe that's something that needs to be addressed with the system. All right, Jim Talent's on the way. We're going to break down the government shutdown. There's really not much to it, and most Americans actually don't care, to tell you the truth. But it's still a thing politically and will be in the midterms. This is Common Sense Radio.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris. How are you, Vic? I don't want to put anybody else down, but when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need to understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Attention off-road enthusiasts. Iron Bear Customs has the strongest bumpers on the planet. Plus, brush guards, lift kits, and custom cages for all vehicles. Visit ironbearcustoms.com and mention Newstalk STL for 10% off. Iron Bear Customs, built tough for the toughest terrain.
Discover Patriot Powder Coating, your family-owned specialist in Pacific. From small jobs to big projects, we got you covered. Visit our showroom or call 636-551-0377. Mention Newstalk STL for 10% off.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A vote to end the government shutdown has come up short.
On this vote, the yeas are 55 and the nays are 45. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmation. The motion is not agreed to.
House Speaker Mike Johnson says the blame sits squarely on the shoulders of Democrats.
The simple truth is Democrats in Congress have dragged our country into another reckless shutdown to satisfy their far-left base. That is the truth. Whether or not the government remains open or reopens is entirely up to them.
But the tally did show some cracks in the Democrats' resolve, leaving next steps uncertain. Tomorrow marks the annual Bring Your Bible Day, sponsored nationally by Colorado Springs-based Focus on the Family. In the wake of the recent murder of Charlie Kirk, spokesman Emerson Collins feels the annual event reminds people to honor the freedoms we enjoy in America.
First being our freedom in Christ, that Christ came, he lived, he died, he rose again, and we can have freedom from sin and death. That's a freedom worth celebrating. The second most important freedom we can have in this life is our freedom of speech here in the United States of America. I encourage everyone everywhere to bring their Bible with them wherever they go on October 2nd this year and be a light for Christ and administer the healing balm of the gospel to our culture and our nation that so desperately needs it, especially right now.
Emerson Collins adds that he hopes people will bring their Bibles with them tomorrow in schools, universities, and in workplaces as well. 2 hurricanes, Umberto and Imelda, both stirring things up not far off the coast of the eastern United States. Eyewitness Brian Barley watched the winds and waves take their toll on Surfside homes in Buxton, North Carolina.
Wow, just like that. 3 houses down in 1 hour.
And at least 5 houses claimed by the wind-whipped waters along the Outer Banks over the past 24 hours. On Wall Street, the Dow right now is up by 37 points. More from townhall.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
You'll notice a lot of high, thin clouds up there today that kind of mute the blue sky and the sunshine. It might shave a degree or 2 off the temperature, so maybe not quite as hot, with a high of about, 86, 87 degrees today. And a very slight chance of an afternoon shower tomorrow from St. Louis south. That would be isolated. I think we'll have some better rain chances come next week. I'm KMOV First Alert meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Report cards are a good way to show how well your kids are doing in class and where they might need improvement. We at the Show Me Institute believe schools should get grades too, so parents can see how their child's school compares to others. That's why we came up with the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on categories such as student performance in English language arts and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district has a grade, and the website is easy to use. And now we've added spending data for every district, so parents, taxpayers, and policymakers can see where the money is going. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michaels Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michaels has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michaels Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Because truth matters.
Let's speak that truth.
Because understanding matters.
Let's break this down.
With all that's happening.
And it's happening a lot faster.
What matters most is
the only question that matters here.
Are you informed?
Important issues that are facing this country.
Depend on us.
The latest events.
The information you need.
Here are the facts.
When you need it.
We always have great conversations.
You guys have a great radio station.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
And Louis going to sing it for you one time. This is called Saint Behind the Glass.
No, this is not another Hakeem Jeffries meme. It just happens to be Los Lobos. One of my favorite albums. Kiko, called. But I will have to tell you that the Hakeem Jeffries memes did remind me of Los Lobos, and that's probably why I'm playing it now, because if you could just imagine about 5 Donald Trumps all strumming their guitars on this one, then you've got the groove. Gosh, he made Hakeem Jeffries so mad. I mean, I have to tell you, though, you guys know that some people, and there are a lot of like pearl-clutching Republicans who are like, I don't know, this is not dignified. It's like, every once in a while, it's just fun to be 15 again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's and what's even crazier is that President Trump, 2 days after, basically, maybe we'll get to this when I talk to Jim Talent, basically getting a peace deal together that could change the Middle East forever. We've got Qatar now and another country saying, hey, Hamas, you might want to do this or else. So we'll see. But anyway, and to posting memes about Hakeem Jeffries, I would say that is a diversified personality. Wouldn't you? All right, real quickly before I get to my buddy Jimmy. So Chuck Schumer gets embarrassed by CNN because nobody's buying the fact that they're trying to blame Republicans for this.
Every Republican who's gone on TV the last 12 hours or so has called this the Schumer shutdown. What do you say about that name?
Yeah,
Senator
sure.
Schumer, can you hear me?
Sure, Chuck.
I can't hear.
Senator Schumer, can you hear me? I don't think Senator Schumer can hear me right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
whatever. I mean, come on. He heard him. It's like, I'm sorry, what? I couldn't hear you. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Jim Talent joining me. How are you, my friend?
Oh, Jamie, I've been laughing for the last 90 seconds. I tell you, sometimes you are too funny. You really are. I wondered with regard to this, because Schumer's been through this. I mean,
Yeah.
I was in the House with him the first time this happened in 95, I think it was. And I wondered if he had something up his sleeve, because it just seems so obviously wrong as a tactic. But it's pretty clear he doesn't. And, when you lose 3 of your own people on that initial vote, that's very, very bad. Because typically what will happen is you'll go into this sort of thing. It'll be very rah-rah at the beginning. And then the public notices what's happening and gets upset about it. And then your shakier people start peeling off. But he's got people peeling off at the beginning. That is not good.
Yeah.
How do you turn around and demonize the Republicans for this when you've got 3 people in your own caucus who are voting for it, and, real people? I mean, people who have some respect in the outside world. So, no, this is not good for them, and it's not going to end well for them.
I'm picking up on something, too, just in the general atmosphere of the general public. And it seems like the government shutdown thing is not unlike the boy who cried wolf. I think most people are like, okay, so the government shut down. I know I can't go to the old courthouse in the Arch. But other than that, I don't know what else is happening here. And I'm not quite sure I care or have to care or what have you. So I think people are just kind of thinking, well, I don't know, isn't it good sometimes that the government shut down? I don't know. How are you thinking that the general public is feeling about this?
Well, I think you're right in the sense that I don't think the members of the public will generally feel personal pain about it. What they don't like about it, and I learned a bitter lesson on this 30 years ago, is it's evidence of dysfunction. In other words, it looks like either you're whining or you're gumming everything up for an issue that you should be fighting out in other contexts, and particularly in a situation like this, where it's pretty evident that they're not even sincere about the issue. In other words, they wanted to shut the government down, and then they said, okay, what issues can we say we're shutting the government down over? Oh, we'll do it over health care. And then the problem with that, of course, is that the health care that they want restored includes health care for people who are not legally in the country, which is not very popular. So now I have some sympathy for Schumer, though, because as you know, in the spring, he prevented this from happening. He was roasted for it by his own party. And I think he probably just said, you know what, I'm not throwing myself under the bus anymore. Or if I'm doing it, we're all getting underneath that bus. I think that's part of why he's doing what he's doing. You notice the other, and I forget exactly what it was about. No, it was a New York Times poll. And Schumer said on the Senate floor, well, it's a New York Times poll. You know, they're biased. And all the Republicans started laughing. And you notice Schumer started laughing too.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows. You're absolutely right. He's been around too long. He knows.
Well, and then it gets to the point where it's called the Schumer shutdown. So, poor guy. I mean, if he actually didn't have if he really didn't want to do this, boy, did he have to pay for that, even in the end.
Right. It's a shame his name isn't Jones or something, because it was the alliteration, I think, that attracted it. That sounds, it's catchier. Schumer shutdown rather than, the Jones.
Yeah, right,
shutdown,
exactly.
Or the Allman shutdown or the talent shutdown. It just, it sounds, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
A little bit better. This is not going to end well for them. Now we'll see what Russ Vought does. And I guess, if I wanted to be a worrier, and I certainly hope that the administration does some good things with this, but if they do something that shifts the messaging away from what the Democrats are doing now, then it may give them a second life in this. But we'll see what our OMB director does.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Do you see this now that you brought up the Schumer thing too? Do you think? I don't know. Let's just pretend Schumer really didn't want this to happen, and figure they could figure it out. Do you think that this is showing that divide that seems to keep on popping up between some of the younger gunslinger Democrats and people like Schumer or Durbin or some of these other ones? I'm not saying they haven't been reckless, but I'm saying it seems to me like there's a youth movement in this Democrat Party that is considerably more destructive and aggressive than some of the other Democrats have been.
Yeah, I think it's the same youth movement. They're also they're not just younger; they're a lot more radical, and so they're the ones who wanted to defund the police, to completely open up the border, to have men in girls' sports, and they control the institutions. I mean, they control the universities, entertainment, and that sort of thing, and so they're pressuring the Democrats who are not as extreme, who tend probably to be older. Although I'm not sure that's not an ironclad thing. Yeah, I think it's a real problem that they've got, because these positions across the board are not going to sell with the American people. And meanwhile, you're correct. The Trump administration is doing some very good things, including in the Middle East. I'm not trying to shift this over there, but I mean, the contrast could not be clearer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to say one other thing about the meme you were talking. I assume this is the sombrero meme.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, Jamie, if you step back and look at these situations, and particularly look at the Trump presidency from a little bit more from the standpoint of history, presidents, the most effective presidents have been very good at adapting to and using new forms of media, right? FDR and the radio, JFK and the TV, and Trump and his people are good at that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using it. And that's the sort of thing you can do on social media, because everybody understands the rules are different there, right? And they're using humor effectively. So I admire it. I mean, I'd be the first to tell you, I mean, if I was involved in this, I'd need to hire some really sharp people, because I don't have any instinct for this sort of thing. And and Trump or his people do,
Well, Newsom is trying to do a little bit of that, but they're not really good at it. I mean, they're kind of hacky. Like, for instance, you remember the movie Anchorman? And
Yeah.
and the guys are all standing around, and Anchorman's making jokes, the other guy's making jokes or insults. And then the Steve Carell, the weatherman, comes in after all this hilarity and comes in and says, "Yeah, your mom's underpants," and everybody's like, "What did you just say?" And he's like, so unfunny. That seems to be like Newsom's style of tweeting. Like they're like tweeting, and we're like, "What did you just say? We don't even understand you." Where Trump and his team, they get it. They're very entertaining, and the visuals are great, and they are relentless. I love it.
Yeah, that's my impression. Although I think I've seen stories, I haven't actually seen the polling that shows that Newsom. Pardon me, Newman. Now I'm thinking of Seinfeld again.
Yeah,
and I've heard people call this the Seinfeld shutdown because it's about nothing. Right?
Yeah, right. I love that one.
Yeah, but Newsom, I think, has done himself some good with the Democratic base with this. He's pretty agile.
Yeah.
Now, his problem is his record. And not just the record, the governance record, which would, I think, sink him in a national election, but also, his own statements in the past. When he runs, which I assume he will, he's going to be in a primary, and that's where we're going to see the gloves come off as they go after him. I don't even think the Republican candidate will probably have to do that. I think whoever's running against him will do it in the primary. But I think generally speaking, the president and his people, I think the president has a facility for this, particularly with tweeting, right? But in terms of these memes and the rest of it, this is just the team he's assembled, I assume. I mean, I doubt Donald Trump is on a computer someplace constructing these memes. Right.
These are the same people who put him in a garbage truck during the campaign. These people are brilliant. I mean, they know what they're doing. So
they know the strengths. They know what their principal. I guess I was going to call him a candidate, but now he's the principal, right? They know what he's good at, what he can do, and so they adjust the setting. And he can do a lot. I mean, he's good at a lot, and they adjust the setting, sort of put him in places that really show his strengths.
Yeah.
And, and it's been very effective. I mean, I think Trump is doing pretty well. I mean, if I look out and I say, where are the clouds on the horizon? I would say, I'm waiting for the economy to really get going, which is something obviously Americans care about. But this shutdown is going to hurt the Democrats. I don't think it's going to hurt in terms of a year from November, because I think people will forget about it. But it's not good for Abigail what's her name?
Spanberger, yeah.
In Virginia. Spanberger, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good for her. So she does not want this to be dominating the airwaves now in Virginia.
No, I understand. All right, I know a couple minutes left here, but I heard you on Tim Jones and Christopher Arp's show the other day after the announcement of the peace deal. It was a great interview with you guys, great interactions, and I know I did catch one thing, and you said to them, you're like, I don't think Hamas is going to go for this. And how do you feel about that? Still, do you feel that still?
Well, I think I said that, or I don't know if I said on that show. What they might do is say, okay, in principle, but we want numbers to try to negotiate or to try and draw it out. And so that's why the president said you got 3 or 4 days. That's why it says you have to release the hostages within 72 hours. And that's the first thing that happens, okay, is they got to release the hostages. So the president's anticipated that they would do this. The Israelis have not stopped their military operations. So, they can diddle around with this as long as they want. Israelis are tightening the noose around Gaza City, destroying the infrastructure, flushing out the Hamas fighters and killing them. So I just think that the president and the Israelis have all the cards. I mean, what they've done, and you got the essential point in your opening on this, because they've lined up, presidents lined up basically the entire Arab world, including Qatar and Turkey. And so what the Qataris have told Hamas is, this is the last train. This is it. You take this or we're done with you. And when you consider that Iran can't help them anymore, that Syria, Bashar Assad is gone, I mean, they're really between a rock and a hard place. If they surrender, I mean, that's against all of their instincts. If they don't surrender, they're going to be destroyed. And all these people, all these countries they think they've lined up against them, the president has reversed the polarity of that now.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to say, it's your fault for not taking the agreement. And all these kids at Columbia University and the rest of them who wanted Palestine to be free from the river to the sea, well, it's going to be free from the river to the sea because the Israelis are going to control it. And there's always ironies out there.
Yeah.
Aren't there, James?
Boy, I'd say. Well, Jim, thank you for your time, man. I know you're busy, but I appreciate you being with us as always. It's always so educational and interesting and entertaining. So hope you have a great rest of your day and appreciate your time, brother.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
All right. That is Jim Talent. Yeah. Hey, coming up, Rick Pogue. It's Common Sense Radio.
Heading for the station with a pack on my back. I'm tired of transportation in the back.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Clayton Sleep, people, and that's something I'll tell you about in a little bit. But before that, I want to tell you about Patriot Heating and Air Conditioning. And Patriot is great. Call Patriot HVAC STL.com. That is really going to be crucial for you. So I'm going to have them come out. They came out once during some problems with my air conditioner. I had on one of the floors of my house, the air conditioning unit pooped out, and Sean came out and found the problem almost right away. Checked a couple things. You know, they know these guys are experts. They're pros. They know where to go, what to do, how to do it, and that's how it all worked out. And so they found the part that was damaged, and Sean went to his truck, and the part was there. So within about 45 minutes, my air conditioner was back in action. It was that simple, and it was fantastic. And these guys are super reasonable. I put a Google review up there, and so you could see all the reviews there. They're top rated in the St. Louis area. So as we get into the fall time, now's the time to make sure that your heating unit is going okay. You don't want to turn it on the minute it gets cold and figure out that there's something not right about it. So it's really cool. And you get into their program, maybe if you want to. You don't have to, but you can get into their maintenance program, and they'll come out, and then they'll come out in the spring for the cooler and take care of you that way. Call Patriot HVAC STL.com. Family run operation. Craig is such a great guy, and his son Sean is there too. So you can be sure they'll be able to come out to get you. This isn't like a 2-week. Well, we're working 2 weeks out. It's like that's not the case. They also have 24-hour emergency service for you as well. Call Patriot HVAC STL.com. That's call Patriot HVAC STL.com.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. When severe weather hits, scammers often follow. They may pose as charities, jack up prices on essentials, or offer fraudulent home repairs. I'm committed to protecting Missourians from those scams. If you've been targeted or suspect price gouging, report it to our office at 800-392-8255. 8222 or online at ago.mo.gov.
Paid for by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
News, analysis, opinion.
What Secretary Kennedy is doing is aligned with what the scientific evidence says.
We need true research to say what is right, what is wrong. I don't believe that 6 months old should be vaccinated for COVID.
The Department of Justice mission is to reduce illegal employment and prevent employers from gaining an unfair advantage.
This is what the president won his campaign and his mandate on.
1019 and 94.1.
St. Louis is number one
for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Historic meeting between European leaders, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Trump.
We want to stop the killing, get this settled.
1019 and 94.1.
We all want peace.
News Talk STL.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Common Sense Radio. Jamie Allman here with you on this Wednesday. It's called the Allman Report, you know. Ashton's over there on the keyboards, and it's some crazy reactions to the Pete Hegseth thing yesterday, you know. The hard-headed Joy Behar. Caledonia, what makes your big head so hard? Yeah, so everybody's reacting. And it's funny how people were so offended by the fact that Pete Hegseth didn't want fat people in the military anymore.
Renamed Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth spoke to U.S. military leaders from around the world to lay out his very retro vision for our armed forces. Watch.
This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department. We are done with that. It's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. We're empowering drill sergeants to instill healthy fear in new recruits. Yes, they can shark attack, they can toss bunks, they can swear, and yes, they can put their hands on recruits.
Why is he obsessed with fat?
Yeah, and fitness and.
Why are you fat? That's my other question, Joy. Doesn't matter, but it's really I don't know, man. Rick Pogue, did you hear this whole thing, man? It was really wide-reaching. It's funny how Joy Behar called it retro, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. But man, that was funny.
Hey, brother, it's
What's
good
up?
to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too.
It's funny. Out of everything you just played there from Secretary Hegseth, she comes up with fat. That's all she.
I know,
because she is fat. So I'm just happy to be able to use descriptions like that again. That it's okay to do that again. Call people fat, ugly. Look, I'm not hair challenged. Okay, I'm freaking bald.
Yeah.
So I just live in the real world, and it made my day to see Pete Hegseth have that meeting and tell all those generals the way it's going to be. I literally pinch myself every day I get up, Jamie, because every day it gets better and better and better, and all the things that we all know should happen and should be are being brought back to the forefront. And I personally could not be happier about it.
Well, and then he talked about the beardos, like guys who wear beards, and I was like, well, and really this people act like that's such a far-fetched thing. Well, look at the New York Yankees. Like Steinbrenner doesn't allow any facial hair on the New York Yankees. You can't have a beard, a mustache, nothing.
Well, to your point, this is the United States military, the most powerful, successful force in the history of planet Earth, okay? I am glad they're going back to these standards. How many years have you and I and all of our friends been telling each other, Look what Russia's doing. Look what Russia's military are teaching their people. Look what China's doing. And then look what we're doing. We're worried about DEI and getting dudes in dresses and combat uniform. Those days are over. And thank the Lord. So I'm really excited about what he's doing.
Yeah. And, it's interesting how there are some people already kind of revving up the discrimination lawsuit engines, that, how can you possibly judge somebody or don't promote them because they're overweight or whatever. But when there are standards, I mean, you can't look again, let's go back to sports. You can't do certain things if you're not in a certain weight class or whatever. I mean, you can't do certain things if you're not in a certain physical form. So there's nothing different than this from the private sector, almost in some ways.
There's nothing different about it at all, and we all agree it's great. I love women serving in the military. I think it's fantastic. They're going to have standards. Okay, you have to meet these standards. Why do we set these standards in the military? Why so strict? Well, when you're going into combat, it'd probably be a good idea to have your people in better shape and better physical condition than your enemy. Correct? So it's a good thing. And what has happened is our society has become so watered down with all this liberal craziness and nonsense, loony left stuff, that people don't want to work and they don't want to achieve. So they just lower the bar. Just keep lowering the bar, because we're all fat and happy in the United States. What could happen to us? Nothing could go wrong. Well, we've had 30 years of that dumbing down, and it's time to bring that to an end.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And on another subject, I know this morning you texted me and said, hey, man, I can't wait to go down to the Arch Museum because I hear they added another piece of driftwood and they have a brand new beaver pelt they found. And I told you, I had to tell you, I said, hey, man, it's closed. It's closed. I'm sorry, Rick.
It's okay. I'll get over it. Hey, dude, this video, this sombrero, Hakeem Jeffries video, I showed that to my wife last night. We laughed for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How is he the king of trolls or what?
Yeah. Did you see the first one or the second?
Push their buttons.
Yeah. Did you see
I
the
saw
first
one where he was with? Well, I saw the first one.
Yeah.
Where he was with
Schumer.
Chucky Schumer.
Yeah.
And they AI Chucky Schumer's what he was saying. It was just brilliant. And I saw another one where Trump was playing the trumpets.
Yeah.
So
that was so great. And what's funny, what funniest part about this is that, it's Jeffries doing an interview, and the word bigotry was when they put a sombrero and a mustache and had Trump with his mariachi outfits on, right on the word bigotry.
Well,
so funny.
Well, I will tell you, Rush Limbaugh, who we love and miss, used to say, he uses he calls out absurdity by being absurd. Remember when he used to say that all the time? So these memes, they're hilarious, but they're also proving a point. And the point he was proving was they brought these illegals over here on purpose because in my opinion, they're losing the black vote.
Yeah.
And they know it. They see it. They're losing the Hispanic vote of the people, the people who are already here legally. So they brought these people in to create a new voter bloc. Everybody knows it. Trump's unafraid to say it out loud. Having Donald Trump as president is like having your dad or my dad as president. That's what I love about it. He's not a polished politician. He's very good at it because he's good at everything. But the man is unafraid. He's not afraid of anything. He'll tell you right to your face what he's thinking. These other world leaders, I mean, what's that worth to us right now?
Yeah, I mean, and one thing I mentioned too that I thought was really super interesting when he was giving that news conference or that announcement, and it was interesting how and this must come from his business background, because he mentioned the name of every single world leader he was dealing with, and obviously it's written down for him, but nonetheless, he creates these relationships with these people, and it's almost like everywhere he goes, he engages people and wins them over. which is and a lot of it has to do with the fact that it might not be as much as a talent as it is that maybe he's just the first one to ever acknowledge these people or give them the time of day or engage them or what have you. And man, that is really super compelling.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Have not met President Trump yet. I hope to in the near future. But from people who I've met that know him, I got to spend some time with Kimberly Guilfoyle not too long ago, and Junior. Of course, Junior would say that about his dad, anyways. But what you hear is he treats everyone equally. It doesn't matter if you're a person working a manufacturing job or if you're the leader of another country. He makes you feel like you're the only person in the room, and that is a talent that's really unteachable. And I do believe that's how he goes at everyone. And even the people, the people who don't really like him, they respect him because he's a man of his word. He does what he says and says what he does.
I remember doing an interview with him on the Allman Report on TV. This was during the 2015 campaign. And it was by the phone, over the phone. And before we went on, he and I had a little conversation. He said, so how do you think we're doing in Missouri? And I'm like, wow, it's really crazy that he's asking me that question. Like like I'm important, you know what I mean? It's like, so how do you think we're doing in Missouri? Yeah. Like he could probably get that answer from anybody. But he has that, he has that way of making you feel important and sometimes even unimportant because I tell the story sometimes, and you remember Denise Schaefer, right? Me doing the news, right?
I do.
So anyway, we go to the Peabody Opera House or whatever it is for the a Trump rally in 2015. It's me, Denise, and my son Aiden, who's 12, and we wind up after his speech in the rally, we wind up in the kind of the receiving line or whatever it is, where he goes down the line, and first thing, Aiden says, "Hey, I hope you become president," and he says to Aiden, "I hope you do too," was his answer. Then he gets to Denise and myself. We're standing there, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm Jamie. I work at 97.1. We're in the radio." And he goes, "Who is she?" And he's pointing to Denise Schaefer. It was pretty funny. Great. It was a pretty funny moment because he stopped me in my tracks and like, "Hey, who is she?" It was great, man.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, the man just has a way about him. And he's been president once already, so it's not like we're surprised. But now he's the president, and people are getting on board. Well, I wish he would have had that back in 2016 and beyond. But now everybody's getting on board. And here's the big thing: he's winning, Jamie. He wins every day.
Yeah.
And it's not going to slow down. Oil is $60 a barrel now. And you're going to see, I predicted a long time ago, you're going to see $2 gas. I don't know if you'll see it this year, but I think we'll see $2 gas while he's president. The Dow's at 46.5 or something right now and growing. It's only going to get better and better. And thank God we have a strong, fearless, brave leader like him in the Oval Office.
Yeah, dude. And interestingly enough, so because I do real estate, I'm driving all over God's green earth. And back in the day, like around, when I first started in March, that area, man, I'd be filling my tank. It'd be like 75 or $80. I'm thinking, oh my God. And I was doing this like twice a week practically. And now it seems like it's almost half that. It doesn't seem like it's that much at all. And I'm so happy, it like makes a huge difference. It's just a little thing, but it does make a huge difference,
Well, I think when I die, Jamie, they're going to put on my headstone, economics is not rocket science. I say that every time we talk. It's not. Get the government out of the way. Let the economy, let our free capitalist system work the way it's meant to work. Things will happen. If the government, if you have a business, capitalism friendly president in Congress, good things are going to happen. It's just not difficult. The Democrats make it difficult because they want to fundamentally change how our government is built. I wish more people are seeing that. I wish everybody would understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the Democrats envision for our government is not what our founders envisioned and what made us successful in the largest, most successful country in the history of the world. So
well,
I'm glad people are waking up to it.
Yeah, and here's another thing I wish people would, especially some of these conservatives, and and I wish they weren't such simpletons about everything. So yesterday we had that deal that President Trump struck with Pfizer. Drug prices are probably one of the more crippling expenses that Americans have. A lot of them have. And so all President Trump did was, that's another beauty of the tariffs is it's not just the tariffs, it's actually the tariffs as a negotiating tool. So once you have the tariffs, then you could start wheeling and dealing them. And there's nothing non-conservative about that. It is absolutely the purpose, the dual purpose of tariffs is to punish and also deal and create playing cards with it. And he managed to do that with Pfizer, which is perfectly and totally legit. But you hear all these people talking about this is the government setting prices, price controls. It's like, no, it's not. It's coercion.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And here's another intangible about Donald Trump. He is immune to bribery. Okay. How many politicians like AOC go to DC poor and they leave multimillionaires?
Yeah.
Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they can offer Trump whatever they want money. He doesn't care. He's already a billionaire. He's already a multi-billionaire. So they cannot entice him with anything like that. People don't realize what the perfect storm we have in the White House right now.
Yeah.
And I just thank God. I literally thank God every day that Donald Trump's in the White House, because if we didn't have this correction from now to 2028, at least, we would have been done. This country would have been toast.
Well, and he's also legitimately getting richer because he's winning lawsuits against these liars. So, this guy, he's actually making honest money as opposed to the other guys, Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, so
he's making money for America.
Right on, man. So how are things going at the Hideout, brother?
They're going well. I'm going to try and get up there this weekend. I forget which bands we have playing. I apologize, but if you have not had our burgers or our pizza or our wings, which we're famous for our chicken wings, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine we call it gourmet bar food is what we have.
Yeah.
It's not just your typical bar food. It is good stuff. I had our pub burger a couple days ago, and it's just best burger I've ever had.
Yeah.
There really is a difference there. And the entire experience at the Hideout is something people need to see, especially our sunset patio when there's a band out there. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I love chicken wings and consider myself almost to be like a connoisseur because I can know a good chicken wing. And you guys, you're right about the chicken. It's hard to find. Sometimes you go. I mean, I know places that actually are. I'll say it like Wingstop. And I'm like, I can't stand their wing. I can't. They're a place that only does wings, and they're horrible. And so it's like, but you guys have you got to make it perfect, and you guys do. And wings are the lifeblood of the world, really. Chicken wings are, and I would eat them every day if I could. I just can't. But nonetheless, plus the vibe is great. I love your employees, man. You guys have employees who stay there. You know how sometimes the restaurant business is such a revolving door, but you and Jake take good care of these people. And so you have a lot of real veterans there that know how to do hospitality. So it's fantastic, buddy.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
All right,
we
buddy.
have good people there, and our core people are second to none. So I appreciate that.
I totally agree, and that's the key. And now, man, especially around now as we get into autumn, October, even November, you know how that is in St. Louis. It'll be beautiful out on that patio. So we will enjoy it.
Yeah. If you haven't seen a sunset on the sunset patio, you don't know what you're missing.
Right on. I'll have to get out there too, brother. I appreciate you so much. And thanks, Rick. We'll talk to you again, man. Love you so much.
Love you, brother. Have a great day.
Hey, you too. That is Rick Poe. You ever have trashed wings? Ashton, you ever have trashed wings? where they just kind of like double do whatever. They're really crunchy and they're good.
Sounds good though.
It's like they're doubly cooked. I think what you do is they cook them and then they put them into like a bowl that has all this sauce and stuff on them, and then they just kind of redo it again. I don't know. I just know they're good. I don't need to know everything about chicken wings. I just need to know how to eat them. And by the way, I'll go ahead and have the blue cheese that you don't want. People are so scared of blue cheese. Why? Well, just leaves more blue cheese for me. Go ahead with all your ranch. Fine. Whatever. This is Common Sense Radio. It's the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here.
Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1.
And always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clayton Sleep, the Clayton Sleep Institute, and Dr. O'Gile. He's been a longtime friend of mine, and wow, my sleep guru, people. He helped me back in the day when I was doing early morning radio. Man, your sleep shifts are all crazy, whatever. And so he helped me kind of get through all of that. A lot of you have probably grueling schedules, whatever it happens to be. And even if you don't, the reality is, and that's all a timing issue and the need for adequate sleep. But a lot of you may get 7-8 hours of sleep a night and think that's all groovy. But if you have sleep apnea, it's not, because you're not really sleeping. You're snoring, your breathing is stopping, it's being interrupted, it's having consequences to your health and also consequences for your family, obviously the people in the house who have to hear it and be woken up by it. He can resolve those issues for you. Restless limb syndrome. You wouldn't believe how many people actually had that. So basically, it's like your arms and legs waking you up. I mean, it's just like really obnoxious, but it is the way it is. But they have ways of helping you. And again, none of this involves drugs, okay, or sleeping pills or things like this. This involves habits, and this involves adjustments that are easily made that he can and his team can walk you through those. Pediatric sleep problems, insomnia, you name it. Sleep, better life. That's what Clayton Sleep is all about. And he has two ways of helping you. You can go in for a consultation, stay at the boutique hotel like examining places, which are really, really cool. They have somebody who kind of monitors you all night long. Or there's a take-home apparatus for you that he can work through all those things with you. And you don't ever have to be at the clinics if that's not your thing, but he can still help you resolve those issues. Check it out on the web. It's ClaytonSleep.com. That's ClaytonSleep.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Congressman Burgess Owens, the NFL is instituting male cheerleaders this year. Your thoughts?
This is, again, what the NFL is all about. They hate the idea of masculine men and feminine women. They're going to have these guys at some point. These guys are going to be tossed up, and they'll be at the top of the pyramid.
I may join you in boycotting NFL if I ever see that.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4
on News Talk STL.
Great patio season to enjoy any of the Cafe Napoli locations. How about the Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield? Enjoying coal-fired pizza, nothing else like it. Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in Chesterfield. A few doors down, Lit Cigar Lounge, where you can enjoy premium cigars and whiskeys. Check the Lit Cigar Lounge Facebook for details, plus gift cards for friends. I'll see you at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield.
Oh, yes. You're thinking about retiring? You all excited and everything? 55 years old or whatever. Are you okay with the planning, or you just figure, well, I'll just use my 401k. All will be great. Retirement planning is super important, and my guys at Gemini Wealth Group are going to help you do that. The GeminiWealthGroup.com, or you can call Jeff Portman directly at 314-888-0123, 314-888-0123. Very important for you because you're living 20, 30 years, sometimes even 40 years after your retirement. So you got to make sure everything is locked down, and you got to make sure everything is organized. You got to make sure you're diversified. But as Jeff describes it. This is not just diversification for diversification's sake. These guys know what they're doing. They know the more powerhouse and powerful investments. So they're just not scattering your money. They're targeting it to these diversified investments, and it's going to help you down the line because they're very knowledgeable about that. You have to plan all of your situations regarding living, regarding medical, all those kinds of taxes, all those kinds of things need to be at the front of your planning here because, again, if you're living that long after you retire, you got to make sure you're happy. You don't want to be struggling. These are your golden years, right? So make sure you go ahead and get a hold of my guys at the Gemini Wealth Group, proud sponsors of free Common Sense Conservative Radio, the GeminiWealthGroup.com or 314-888-0123.
Colombo and Company.
Missouri National Guard to assist ICE agents across the state. We'll discuss it Wednesday with Missouri political insider Rodney Boyd, plus Danny Define and closest cabinet.
Live and local weekdays at 2
on News Talk STL.
When I say goodbye, it's never for long, 'cause I know.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Allman Report on News Talk STL. Common Sense Radio on this beautiful Wednesday. Jamie Allman here, happy to be with you, and love this guy. One of my guilty pleasures, you know. Although, never had the fortune of being able to throw my panties up on the stage like the ladies do, but if I wore panties, I probably would, but Luther Vandross is so awesome. I had I knew somebody, I can't remember who it was. Well, now that I mentioned Denise, I think Denise was the one. She hated the word panties. Ashton, are there women who can't stand to hear that word? Or no? I don't know. Because if I said that, she would go crazy.
Yeah, sometimes
okay.
It's cringe, and then
yeah.
other times it's like, okay.
It's probably cringe when like an old man says it, probably. Oh, still. Good old Luther Vandross, man. He's okay, but I feel he died way too young, and he's a good guy. Really an amazing singer, an amazing artist, and people who loved him. Hey, check this out. So this 10-year-old girl and this jiu-jitsu fighter decided their way of calling out boys competing in girls' sports is by fighting them. So Zoe Zerza, she's a 10-year-old jiu-jitsu fighter, and her father, David, who is a Marine, she was on this podcast, War Boys Studio, and she had some strong words for the parents of boys pretending to be girls in jiu-jitsu. And they were on this podcast called The American Rising. I got to get a podcast where I wear sunglasses, even though it's dark in the studio, because that's a thing. So when I get my new podcast going one of these days, I'm going to sit in one of those big black chairs like they do, and it's like dark and blue, like a blue light, and I'm going to wear sunglasses and a hat. I'm going to talk like this.
I'd like to bring to the stage Zoe. Zoe, how are you doing today? Good. And I'm glad you're here. You are a inspiring little young individual. You are fastly becoming a professional jiu-jitsu competitor. This is something that you love and you want to do with your life. Am I correct?
Yes.
What brings you to jiu-jitsu? Why did you choose jiu-jitsu as a sport for you?
I don't know, but it's been fun for me.
How Oh, you're doing good.
Talk
How
to the
long have you been
microphone.
doing jujitsu?
He's still there.
6 years.
6 years, and you're 11 years old now. How many competitions have you won?
A lot. I don't even know how much, but a lot.
That's a good kind of problem to have.
Do you travel to do this?
Yeah.
So anyway, she's basically going ahead and fighting boys and beating them.
And she started having the memories of these things. You know, you started it. So what do you love about the sport?
That you get to try new moves, and then like you get to practice with friends. Like you have friends at school, but the friends at jiu-jitsu, they help you get better.
And now, of course, it's gotten to the point where she's beating these boys and showing them that, yeah, you can try to compete in girls' sports, but I'm going to kick your
country, for her age, 9 and 10-year-old, and 36 overall, from 17 down to 8, 9-year-old girls in the country. So it's been fun. I've seen more states in the past 4 years than I did in the 42 previous. And
yeah, so she's going all around the country, and that's basically their vibe. Is that you know, she has a fundraiser that she does at Gives and Go. You could probably find that at Zoe's Jiu-Jitsu. And so these folks are saying we need to support people who are brought up the right way. And so she's been really training hard. She's elevated herself, and a lot of it with the goal of making sure boys know that even if they're in girls' sports, they can still get their butts kicked. It's fantastic. Go Zoe. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Ashlyn, thank you so much. Columbo and Company, straight ahead.
I remember my son was going to grow up without a father.
I didn't think someone at 23 could be diagnosed with breast cancer.
I was probably the healthiest I had been in my life.
Early detection of a melanoma saved my life.
I survived testicular cancer because of early detection.
I survived cancer not once, but twice because of early detection.
Hi, I'm Congressman Bob Onder. Early detection equals better outcomes. Learn what routine cancer screenings you need and book your doctor's appointment today.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters.